I know. I just wanted to make sure. I don't want to be, hi, this is Jim, the Keys bartender. We're in there. Oh, it is. Oh, it just floated up. There's some dead fish floating up the canal. We are here for episode, I think it's 98. 98.
98 or 198?
198. 198. I dropped the 100. I'm binary. I'm like the Y2K virus.
Before I came out of the closet, I was binary.
Binary? Oh, that. Oh,
Zero,
I like that. Oh, that's very inventive. We'll call this one Martini Madness.
Martini Madness.
And we were a couple weeks ago. A week ago, I spoke about a guy that came out of the darkness after we were closed, banging at the door, like Dustin Hoffman in. What's that movie? The Graduate.
The Graduate.
At the end, where Catherine Ross is getting married to the other guy.
Hey, let me just interject here. We didn't use his real name.
You know what? I can use his real name.
Okay.
I mean, no, we'll just call him Andy. We'll call him Andy.
Andy. I think that's what we called him.
We'll call him Andy. But he happens to be a guy, a Latin American, originally from an island about 90 miles south of here. He lives, he's either on a boat or living in some older woman's house, and he worked in her kitchen for a little while as a dishwasher. And he's a very handy guy, but he has a problem with a little substance abuse and stuff like that. And he likes blue Long Island iced teas. And he's a particular fan of a band that plays frequently at the restaurant. I don't know if he's a particular fan of that band. It's a good band, but I think it's one of the few places that allowed him in. And he could only have 2 blue Long Island iced teas. We cut him off at that because once he got to 3, it was just too many. It's like double the alcohol. It's a Long Island iced tea.
Right.
Too many, double the alcohol.
No
how many things can you have of that? I don't know.
Not many.
For me, maybe 4. He can't.
Really?
Yeah, I can have 4 over a certain amount of time.
I think because I basically quit drinking. I might have a drink a month. If I had 1 Long Island iced tea, that would push me over.
One's too many for me to drive.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
One is too many for me to drive.
I'm taking 4 where I can go home and be all right. Meaning, I'm not saying drive.
But you drink, whereas I don't.
Yeah. I'm in the drinking. I'm in the drinking trim, I guess you call it. But for the show, I'm just drinking. I try to drink just beer,
right,
and I watch it. But he did all those things, and eventually he
was pounding
quit.
on the doors after hour.
After hours, well, he was fired already. He was not fired. He quit, and then we all agreed with it. We did not fight to bring him back. Originally, we felt bad for him, and then.
But there's another incident besides?
Yeah, there was another incident. It was this past Wednesday. It's some people you're fucking too nice to. You give them a rope, and they're not even going to hang themselves. They're going to hang everyone else with them. And it was disgusting.
What did he do?
We got intoxicated. He must have had a drink before then. And then he started saying, when they tried to cut him off, he started insulting the bartender, one of the servers, and then threatened the server.
Oh, that's not good. And
then one of the fathers, who's kind of nutty, but one of the fathers, and he knows he's nutty, of one of our dishwashers, they started to go into it, and they were in a step outside, and then started getting violent, and I wasn't there because I'm not saying that if I was there I would have handled, but in this case, for this particular guy, I would have been. Most certainly, I would have been able to handle it. I would have handled it. I would have done. First of all, I didn't realize the guy was 12 years younger than me because he looks to be about 12 years older than me. So not only am I
massive amounts of abuse along the way.
Yeah. So first of all, I could physically dominate him and then mentally dominate him. So he's there doing those things and stuff, and he eventually just crosses the line where he cannot even come into the place. He cannot be on the property. And then it happens in the restaurant business often. Yeah, I'm sure it happens in retail.
I'm sure.
There's. I told you a story about the car accident we were in coming back from the art walk.
Right.
We're coming back from art walk in Isle Anna, and we're just driving up the road up northbound Route 1, and then out of the blue we get hit from behind. And the car disappears and takes off down the street. Eventually, dumbass woman comes out and gets caught. She gets caught because I'm there, I'm watching, and then the family that saw it happen pulled over, and was less than 5 minutes later, pulled out, and the cops are coming, and they get her, and she comes back. This past Wednesday, my daughter and my wife are at Bell's convenience store at Trade Winds Plaza. This woman's in there, and she starts shadowing them there.
Really?
Wherever they are, she goes. Same rack, approaching her. And my daughter, who's going to be 13, tells her mom not to say anything. Abby's 6'2". She can handle herself. She can handle almost anybody. She's physically strong and mentally strong, so she doesn't have a problem with it. She has quite a temper on her. So she followed her there to about 4 different places in the store, and then she moved on down the shopping center to the Publix. And it kind of shadowed her a little there and ends up next to her at the checkout line, where it's not 2 checkout lines. There's 6 open checkout lines, and she's right behind her. And Abby's looking at her, and she goes, what in the world is she doing? And my daughter goes, don't say anything. And Abby's thinking she's trying to egg her on, but I don't know what she's going to get out of it because there's already a police report about what she did. So Abby attacking her, I don't know if she could get anything out of it. Maybe she has a problem with her insurance company or something like that.
Well, why wouldn't she say something? Unless she was that was her immature, ridiculous way of trying to intimidate her.
I think she was trying to intimidate her, but she can't. It's very hard to intimidate Abby. She's from a Central European country.
I'm sure she'll stand her ground.
Yeah, it's very hard to intimidate Abby. The very few times I've seen her frightened, and I've stepped in there and stuff like that. But in most times, I have to really. It's one of those people you got to pull back. You have friends like that,
right? Everybody.
Yeah, that's the one. And she was just shadowing her the whole time, and I just heard that, and I go, "Wow, a fucking another Keys character." No reason for you folks not to come down here and see the beautiful Keys, because we know we all have them in our towns that you grew up in.
Weirdos everywhere.
They are everywhere. Minnesota, right?
Yep. Downtown, in the skyways, in the winter, it don't matter. Weirdos are everywhere.
Yeah. We don't have any. We did not file any claim against her. We didn't do anything.
Some people when they get caught, they'll never admit they were wrong.
Got to blame somebody else.
Is there any way? There's nothing to reverse. She got caught with an expired registration. She ran into us. She left. But we didn't file a claim against it. So
the insurance companies took care of it.
Thank you.
Her pride was hurt.
No, but what can she do? What is she going to gain from this other than stalking?
It's psycho.
She wants a
She's nuts.
I mean,
that's just
a restraining
crazy.
order.
It's somebody else's fault, and she needs to prove it. And that's like some kind of weird mental thing.
Well, first of all, we have a report.
Right.
We have a printed report.
Still, in her mind, she thinks she's right and you guys are wrong, and she's going to follow you around.
She hit us from behind and she took off.
Yeah, she's a lunatic.
Oh, that's crazy. So, I just let it be. So, on to the next thing. I'm driving Sunday to go to my spin class. She's not involved, but you know that left turn lane when you're going south near the CVS and the Walgreens.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
Okay. So on the right of that is 2 lanes going south, and I'm heading south in the left lane. The light's green. No one's in front of me. I'm going 40 to 45 miles an hour. There's a Corvette 2 cars back in the left turn lane, waiting for the light to turn. Well, I guess he decides he had to get back over to that street alongside of the Burger King to the right. So he makes a quick, abrupt 90-degree turn into
From the left
highway
lane?
from the left lane
Right.
in front of me.
And shoots across all the traffic to make the right turn on the side street.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
In front of me. Oh, well, he pulled out about 4 feet into my lane. I swerved in the left lane.
It's a very common accident in this county, by the way.
I don't
Yeah,
get that
I can
movement.
see that
because
happening.
if he stayed in that
I
lane.
can see that happening.
If he stayed in the lane, he would have pulled in the lane, make a U-turn, you'd be on the street on the other side.
And then wait for the light again, buddy.
Yeah, and just go across the street
And wait for the
and
light.
not kill everyone.
All right, so you've driven in another country.
Yeah.
Anna, have you driven in another country?
Canada.
That's fine. It's another culture, another country. I've
Right.
driven in several other countries. And when I was working as a trooper down here, the insanity, you have to ask yourself, what made you think it was okay to be in the right lane
And
then
turn left.
stop and then turn left and shoot completely across
The divided highway.
the divided highway? So you crossed the traffic going originally in your direction, and then you cut off
Blindly.
traffic going in the opposite direction through the median. It happens all the time. Now, being in another country, and the reason why I say other country is you're not familiar with the streets, you might get lost. It never occurred to me that I needed to stop on a highway
No,
and
never.
shoot across traffic. I always thought, okay, I may have missed my turn. Let me go down, and I'll
turn
work
around.
my way back.
I'll U-turn
Because
or
I
whatever.
don't want to hurt, one,
Me.
me or the people in my car. Two, I don't want to hurt anyone else.
No.
What a bummer it would be to get into a wreck. But there's a madness that occurs to people, and it's usually people visiting.
Well, this wasn't. I imagine. I mean, it could have been a rental car, but it didn't look like a rental car. It was kind of like a gold, hybrid gold bronze, late model Corvette, and it didn't look like a rental car.
I just don't.
I had
see
a vibe. I had a vibe of a local, and locals do it from. Locals make left turns from right lanes into gas stations instead of waiting to go and make a turn up there. It's just like this. It's one. Okay, you got to fucking get an espresso that bad?
I know. And
Gotta
listen, we're
use
in
the
a
bathroom?
county with one road. Go down a block. And
Turn around.
And turn.
I did. You know what? And
Go
to
around the
admit the
median.
hypocrite I am.
Yeah,
I
sometimes you
did it
gotta
in
sit and
Poland.
wait for traffic, but whatever.
I did a move in Poland. I told you about.
Yeah.
It was on a 2-lane road, and there was about a 4-inch rise in between, but it was beveled. And there was an opening where it shows they had reflector, and then it looked like a cross street there.
Right.
And it was going on for miles, and I had to make a U-turn. It was a 45 kph road, which means it was no more than 30 miles an hour.
Right.
So it wasn't 45 miles an hour. There was a car 200 yards in front of me, but we weren't closing. We were closing at 60 miles an hour, maybe, or 50. Well, if they were going slower, 60 miles an hour. That's less than 60, 50. It was a slow road with a stone thing, and I saw there was a road that came out, and I needed to make a U-turn, and I made a U-turn. And these people freaked out. They freaked out in front of me.
Right.
But there were more than like 1.5 football fields away. More than 1.5 football away. And if you're going 30 miles an hour, if you can't slow down
No,
in 300 feet,
I think
So-
it had more to do with the fact you probably made a U-turn where everyone knew it wasn't allowed.
no, but the way the road was designed, it was a road. I never seen that design on any of the roads I drove. I
It's called
drove
the
there.
French median, by the way.
A French median?
The little bevel that go.
Yeah.
It's a French median.
Okay. Well, it was a flat center, a 2-inch rise at 45 degrees.
Right.
And it was a reflector, and then it was flat.
Like an open space that you can drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was flat. Like, if you need to turn, this is the place to turn. With no,
But no.
No sign saying you couldn't.
Maybe.
That you noticed anyway.
that I noticed. But the guy freaked out and followed me, and he got it out yelling, and Abby grabbed me. I told, and you'll hear that. And I did admit, but I didn't do it out of like on spite. It was a considered move on a move on my part, a considered move. Oh, here's a part of the road which is flat. I'm not sure of, and it is. Now, when I make a left turn from a right lane across a busy lane of traffic, that's
Why would you do
not
that?
a considered move, and it's careless. Mine was a stupid foreign move from not knowing, and I realized, I admit it. And the guy saying, I said, well, I didn't know. He said, well, what would you do? You put it right there. Well, we say, wait a second. We're supposed to be going under 30 miles an hour, aren't we? Because I do realize 45. It did say 45. And you never go, we're in Poland. It's all KPH.
Right. As is most Europe. Except
Right.
It's all
England
KPH.
is-
And that is definitely under 30 miles an hour. I mean, people actually can bike at 30 miles an hour. And they get stopped in about 20 feet.
Go on the Italian version of the Autobahn. It's called the Autostrada or the Autobahn. And you have several lanes.
Yeah.
Could be 3, could be 4, could be 2. Mm-hmm. And do slower than the moving traffic in the left lane. See what happens to you.
Be aggressive as Georgians.
You're going to be run off the road.
The Georgians will run you off the road
Right.
too.
Well,
I
know
just
that. Wait,
came down that
I know
stretch.
that here. I know
That's
that
just
here.
going slower in the inappropriate lane.
In the inappropriate
People
lane.
lose their minds.
Yeah, no, that's why I stay in my
They
right.
get where.
Listen, I'm talking.
so close.
Do 100 miles an hour in a lane where everyone else is doing 160.
and they're on you.
No, they're
White
not
on
happy.
rice.
They are not
Like
happy.
stank on old fish.
And most people wouldn't know that you have a speed limitation on the lanes in Europe. Here, I don't care where you drive in the Western world, making a left or right mad turn across multiple lanes of traffic, causing people to lock up, that's not even remotely. That should be on everyone's conscience as to, I can't do this. But it happens all the time. And we have some
All
serious
the
crashes
time.
down here from it. We have and from it.
Well, and also you had the
horrible
ones
here,
where you had the
though.
big dump trucks coming down here, moving at like 60 miles an hour, and someone decides that they need to get on the highway. They're tired of
In
waiting.
front of that truck
In
or
front of the
something
truck,
too,
they can't
even
help.
merging.
Yeah, those brakes won't slow that thing down.
No, they have a hard time because they're.
Well, the tires are a limitation. They need to have twice as many tires.
It's the analogy would be it's like a locomotive trying to stop
Yeah.
a train.
yeah.
Yeah, no, just because
They don't have enough tread.
they don't have enough. No, of course not. And they have the weight. Plays.
But I mean, with the weight,
Right.
with the amount of tread that's it's not enough to stop.
No.
And then we have it. But down
It's
here,
going to just push right into whatever, no matter what.
yeah,
Absolutely.
it happens every week, and it's crazy stuff too. Oh, it's bikers and stuff like that. We did mention me. If you are down here and you're on a bike, remember that a lot of times because of the narrowness of the roads, that
They
someone
also
has to
have
look to
paths.
eight different places before they cross the road. So you have separation, and then it happens. There's a lot of places like that. We have 2 bike paths on either side, right?
Correct.
We have north traffic and south traffic. You can have people coming out of a road, and that could equal, that's 8. That's 8. You got to be able, once you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, another car's just coming out here or a vehicle moving down there, and you already missed it. And you pulled out and you made your decision. And if you look at that next place to catch your last place, you got to look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you got to be nimble of mind. I use that word. You got to be nimble of mind.
You
That's
have
exactly
to
what you got to be.
Yeah. You
actually
gotta decide.
think about driving, and people have stopped thinking
Be
about
generous.
driving.
And you got to be
They
generous.
think about, oh my God,
Let me grab a cigar.
They're
I
probably
got a
texting.
cell phone.
Yeah, keep on going.
I've got a cell phone. I can check whatever I want to check while I'm driving, and oh shit, there's my exit.
Quick, let me hit the brakes real fast and make a left turn. What's that? What's that
Front of a
horrible noise?
fucking garbage truck or something.
What's that crashing noise? Oh, it happened behind me. I can keep going.
I have only been down a day, and I've already saw several really close misses on one.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it
Really
has to
close.
do with the fact we attract a lot of visitors.
Tyler.
Naturally, most of them drive without incident. But it doesn't take much on a one road county to have one moron just screw everything up. And if you have an accident on a bridge or on the 2-lane, because the Keys, as you go further south,
when I came in on the stretch,
you have just 2 lanes and bridges.
Yeah.
And if you foul up on a bridge, it is not unlikely in this county. It's not unheard of to have a 6 or 8 hour delay.
Oh my God!
15 miles of backed up traffic.
When I came in. Just this time on the stretch, some lady, I don't know if she had a flat
29 hours of travel.
Yeah.
And she gets within 30 minutes.
I get within 5 miles. 5 miles. 5 miles of my destination, and there I am, dead stop on the stretch.
Yeah. People don't quite understand. There's no bypass or anything like that.
There's no.
Swamp or it's the ocean.
So we're not too much thing. Just beware yourself. And, once again, my... I would say that locals need to be more aware of what people don't know because they're looking around.
They don't understand. They've never seen a road like that.
They don't see really when they're going over, especially when you go in places like over a bridge, and there's the Caribbean on one side and Florida Bay on the other.
Right.
They start looking.
I mean, you're looking and go, oh my God, look
they're not
at this.
driving and they're drifting over.
Listen,
oh, yeah.
You have a convertible or a sunroof, that camera's going to come up on top of that bridge. They're going to do 5 miles an hour because, we have to take pictures. And they'll stick their heads up and do the selfies. From the moving car doing 5 miles an hour.
I have seen pictures of people sticking their heads out of the sunroofs.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
going by Fred.
There's 50 cars behind them, and everyone is now pissed. And which means as soon as there's a passing opportunity, they're going to pass aggressively, and it compounds the problem.
Yeah, it does. It really does. And I see it down here, and I see people driving slow in the left lane and all that stuff. But on a lighter note, let me tell you, Tyler just told me, he saw me reach for a cigar. He said he had a mini Cuban in the truck. And I, full of exuberance, said, he says, you want me to get it? And I said, what do you mean it? And he goes, I go, well, and then I misread that what he meant. I thought he had a Cuban little person. And I go, fucking yeah, bring him on. If you had a Cuban little person, we're going to have pictures right here. I'm not saying, what? What's his name? When? Esteban, I'm here. I am only 1 meter tall. Hey, we're going to take a break right now for like 5 seconds. We're 23 seconds in. 23 minutes. 23 seconds. Look at that.
Woot, woot, time flies.
Hey, remember, follow us on subscribe to the show.
Absolutely.
If you want to get your information about the Florida Keys straight from the locals who live here and the ones who love it here, we've got you covered. Visit 43keys.com as your source for everything Florida Keys. Sign up for our newsletter and you'll always be up to date on all the Keysy stuff that's going on down here. Go to 43keys.com. That's the number 4, the number 3, keys.com, and sign up today.
We're back. It's time for Happy Thoughts. We're in the Keys, and a lot of times I realize we just focus on, I didn't want to say the word again. We focus on the bad when we're in paradise.
In general?
It's easy to take everything around us for granted sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think that goes for no matter where you live, you know, whether it's mountains or beautiful lakes or pasture land, you tend to just take it for granted.
Look at what we're looking at right here. Looking out here. Pull that drape back and look at those beautiful clouds over there. We should take some pictures over here. But we post pictures every time. We have palm trees, water. We have beautiful tiki lights. Clouds.
We got
stars
boats.
are coming out. There's lightning in the distance,
which is beautiful.
Yes, it is.
Yep. And it's easy to see, you know, why people want to.
But there are depressed people down here. I wanted to talk about what your exercise is daily. I mean, what I do is when I wake up in the morning, I think about my place in the world. Well, this is weird. I have a regimen. I do. I'm spiritual rather than religious.
Okay.
I think of what I am, where I am, what my purpose is, and what I'm going to do today. I do that. I do that regularly. I try to do it on a regular basis. Because on Sunday, when I did that in the morning, besides that almost accident I got into, I forgot my card, my clocking card for work where I was going to my spin class. And I thought, I'm going to put on Facebook that guy that did that shitty mood because I was sure he's a local, blah, 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 blah. And I started, my brain started winding up like an asshole. When I say like an asshole, yeah, you have a right to be angry, but what the fuck does that anger serve? Because I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm angry about it, and it ruined my fucking day. But eventually, if I did it, and I didn't do it, I went into class. I had a great class. The wonderful people. There was a young girl named Raven. She comes into class. She's going away back to school. She's a graduate student in business. She comes in, sweet, and she says, I'm really going to miss your class. And then the other people came up to me, this was a great spin class. I love it. It's my favorite class and all that stuff. And I was prepared to do anything in my power. It's like that guy that did that move was going to determine the kind of day I was going to have. And you know what? I'm sure he didn't intend to do that. What he did was thoughtless. He didn't intend to piss me off. He didn't intend to kill me.
His intention was to get across the road.
So, I mean, what's the purpose? What is the purpose? And then I thought about it after a while. I guess I'm so practiced at getting pissed off and annoyed.
Well,
and I realize I don't have to be that way.
No, none of us do. But it's a natural reaction. I mean, there's a reason why there's anger and rage. And as soon as it pops up, you have to make a determination. What is this serving?
I don't have
to be. Is it self-preservation?
Yes. What is it?
What does it serve?
There's a guy
at
saying,
that point?
what is it? What is this for the agenda of, if you believe in it, my soul? Is this for the agenda of my soul?
Oh, but if it overrode the rest of your day, let alone bled out to the following days, you would have missed
a lot.
The heart and the souls of those people in that spin class
yes.
who related something to you, who related appreciation and acknowledgement, and they still would have said it because they no idea where you just came from, but it wouldn't have landed. And it's important that we make those connections with people.
You would have not been available
friends,
to
family.
accept it.
No, you wouldn't have accepted it, and you'd have missed out on making a connection.
Any engagement you have with someone is a possibility for making a connection, to find out another friend, another person of like mind that wants to be happy,
or maybe learning something about yourself.
Yeah.
If you can't expand on some level, I think someone just got a Charlie horse.
You read that right.
Boy, howdy.
My muscle.
Either that or he had to fart really bad.
Oh, yeah, it looked like it. I just made a look on my face.
Jim was going to end up sliding on the floor from his chair.
Oh, no. Well, I'm used to getting Charlie horses from being a spin instructor.
Hey, I'll tell you about a Charlie horse.
What?
Talking about good vibes, right?
Yep.
So Damon and I are working on our little 1993 Mustang.
Oh, okay. Let's
We have a little sports car, right? A little hot rod. And we had to remove the brake booster and master cylinder, which means we had to get under the dash and take these 4 bolts out. And it's kind of cramped in there. And Damon's a lot thinner than I am.
Yeah.
And but he has there's an issue with his back. You know, he can't contort himself so easily. Yeah. So I told myself, you know what? I don't want you doing that. Yeah. I'm going to jump in there. 56 years old. Yeah. You know, I'm going to get up under that dash.
Yeah.
And
were you going under?
Backwards.
Upside down.
I couldn't put my butt on the seat. I'm too big. So what I had to do is I had to come in at an angle on the floorboard and angle myself up. So I'm fighting the pedals.
Yeah.
And the bolts are way up on the firewall.
Okay.
So I've got a socket with a swivel and an extension, and that the one bolt. I'm telling this long story because it was really involved. One bolt, I had to put a socket wrench on and move it eighth of a turn at a time. And these are long bolts. So this was, and I'm upside down and I'm contorted. And okay, so my leg, I got one leg almost up in the air. I got another leg that's pushing on the floor to keep me up under the by the firewall.
Yeah.
And then the Charlie horse.
Yeah.
And you can't move.
Yeah.
You can't just get out of there and just massage.
It's just ripping through your thigh.
And it got worse.
Yeah.
And worse. And I thought, this sucks. And I got the threshold of the car. I have a bruise under my ribs from the threshold. And now that's starting to hurt because the Charlie horse is causing me to go up higher. And I thought,
how long did this last?
Oh, a good 5 to 10 minutes. It just went on and on and on.
Ow.
So I finally, I forced myself out of the car. And I was going to get, what I normally do is I get pissed. Right? But what am I getting pissed at? And I told myself, wait a minute, the goal is we're working on a car together.
Yeah.
You know? And it's enjoyable to work on that car together. And the object is...
It's a bonding moment.
It's what we do.
Yeah.
So I can't make this... Okay, so I got a Charlie horse. I'm contorted like a pretzel. Mm-hmm. And it hurts. It's gonna hurt. So I got back under there, and I went at it again. Yeah, I had another Charlie horse, but at the end of the day, we get this thing assembled and put in there. Yeah. And the next day, I felt like I did a full gym workout, but it was a good feeling. There was no anger attached to it. There was no misery attached to it. It was like one of those hell yeah moments. Like, yeah, we did that. Whereas I can tell you my nature is, my old nature, has changed in 7 or 8 years, would be to throw those wrenches, break something, get pissed, yell and scream.
But what purpose would that serve? And you've grown.
Exactly.
Sometimes when I'm at my weakest and stuff like that, I will let myself do it. And you're
sometimes it feels good to throw the wrench still. But
I know, but it's like holding a resentment. I've always said this. It's anger, resentment, frustration. Whenever you do that, let's say resentment. It's like holding a coal in your hand long enough so you can go up against the resentment and throw it at it, a hot coal. And you're burning. All you do is you burn yourself, and you never get the opportunity to throw it at that person.
And all that time,
and it's
you've wasted the happiness you could have had.
Yes.
And
by frustrating, and that's anxiety. All those things, anxiety and stuff like that.
It's an anxiety. So it's an esteem issue, an anxiety issue. Let's face it.
So Monday morning, it's Martini Monday at Catch.
Oh, how did that go?
Well, I did my practices in the morning. I was saying, well, like this: what am I? Where am I? What's my purpose? What am I going to do today? And I say, you know what? Part of my job, whenever I go to work, wherever I'm working, is to add value to whoever's employing me. Not just to make money myself, because I do realize I want to make as much as I can whenever I can.
Oh, yeah.
I do. I want to make as much as I can but I also want to add profitability to the people I work for and the people I work with. Mm-hmm. And then the people that come in.
You want them to feel a customer kind of profit.
Yeah, and the customer.
I feel like
the customer.
I got the worth of my visit.
I want my customer to feel like they said, you know what, he really enjoyed it. I don't want him to see frustration when I'm painting, but it's sometimes your body and your abilities are overwhelmed, and then you realize it. It's kind of frustrating because you say, wow, I'm not doing exactly what I practice and talk about. But that's where you got to forgive yourself and say, listen, I'm going to do my best whenever I can. And then I have to come clean and tell people, I say, I'm really sorry that I wasn't at my best. But on Martini Monday, I put my head down, and it was a first of its kind for me, not for anybody else. I worked at a place called the Encore where we did martinis all the time. And I'd get martini. We had some exotic martinis. We had a peanut butter martini. And you got clean up, like 2 minutes worth of cleanup after each martini.
Yuck.
And that's what kills you as a bartender. Because otherwise,
everything else is going to taste like peanut butter.
You're going to go, well, you got to clean it up, get it out, boom, do that. Anything else, if you give me 30 seconds, I'll run down, clean that stuff out. Can you give me? But the 2 minutes cleanup knocks off my timing and stuff like that. So all I think about, this is what I can do, this is what I can't do. Can't do any cream drinks. No cream drinks. Because cream drinks dirty your water, and you can't clean your glasses. You got to keep on doing it. That's the way I'm trying to explain. I apologize to people that do that and stuff during the martini night. We'll try not to do that because in the thick of things, you get an order for, in the space of 1 minute, you'll get an order for 8 martinis, and there are 6 different varieties.
You got to hustle.
Got to hustle, make it. You got to put out the production and stuff like that. It's at the beginning, and then it slows down. All I have to do is the beginning. Get that out. And I realized that, and it worked out. And then actually we did the whole thing, and it was a success for the first time. I wanted to do a real, what do you call that rollout? A soft rollout?
Soft is before you do a grand opening.
Okay. We should have done a soft rollout where we just told people. What we did is we posted on Facebook, and normally the shares we get.
Hard rollout.
We're a small bar with one person behind the bar during the week. So if we get 300 looks, that's great. Well, it ended up we had 1,900.
Oh my goodness!
No, that doesn't mean 1,900 people show up.
No, but that's a lot of interest.
It is a lot of interest. We're going to get it next week. Now I'm prepared.
You know
for next
you're
week.
Get
I know what I need. I know what the most popular drinks are and stuff like that. Little fireworks in the background. I know what's going to happen, and we do it. And it worked out great. And I thanked everyone for. I stopped, and the speechifier I am. I thanked everyone. Were you there for the speech?
Not at the end. No, we left.
No, I gave. Well, it was right when you. I may have been right before you came, or right while you're there. I stopped and thanked everyone, and I said thank you. It was our inaugural experiment.
No, I didn't see that.
And it was a good thing. And people, all I thought about is like something, it's something a couple years ago that I would never have done. But it's a Monday, it's out of season. It's Monday, out of season, and there's a lot of bars. You'd be lucky to get 15 people in.
How many did you have come in?
70 people just for that.
Wow. That's
really
good.
awesome.
70 people. And like I said, we're a small place. We don't have to, we said on the pre-show, you and I were working.
Right.
That a big place that has 12 bartenders, they need to get 400 people to make the place profitable. We need to get 50. We need to get 50 or 60. Because we have a certain amount of people in the back, a certain amount in front. And then the more we get, the more profitable it is. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to increase traffic. And when we get increased traffic, people that normally don't go there, then they're going to come and say, oh, well, look how nice this place is. They do martinis and stuff. They want to come here for food sometime. And,
No. Look, what was the reaction of the customers?
They had a great time.
That's all that matters.
I believe
I
believe
witnessed
next
a
week
whole
will
lot of
be
people
busier.
having fun.
We'll be busier next week. We're probably going to kick it back an hour, meaning we had 3 hours of it because a couple people got a little soused. But hey, it's $5 martinis.
Hey,
$5 espresso, key lime. Next week it'll be lychee peartinis, and I'll introduce. I got orange crush martinis and stuff like that.
It's
at the Catch restaurant, and if you are
very welcoming at the Catch, you feel welcomed.
And if you have a bar, you could do stuff like that. What you do is you talk to your liquor rep, you figure out what product you can use, what you can do. You bring it up. It's not a loss leader. You do things for a lower profit drive that you normally do. You bring people in that normally don't come in. You could bring groups of people that normally come in. It's a lot of women that come in. And when you bring women in, guys come in. Or if you bring guys in, women will come in. The right kind of guys. And if there's certain kind of guys, they'll bring other guys in, depending on what it is. You know what I mean? It's all big thing where you're driving. It's marketing. It's not sales. You're not selling one thing. You're thinking of overall.
Right.
What are we where are we attempting to do?
Sell an experience versus a martini. A martini is the same everywhere.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it's how you get it.
The catch is one of those places you walk into, you do feel comfortable in. Like when I travel and I go to a bar, and you have your box store bars, bars in restaurants, and there's a certain impersonal feeling. It's not really like it's your bar, you know. And you don't have to be from somewhere to feel like it's your bar. You just have to feel wanted, included, and that's really the talent of a bartender and the clientele. If you're able to have a conversation with strangers, if they're of that, and normally in a bar where everyone is feeling part of the scene, normally they're very accepting and you have a great time. It's not really about the drinking, although you're drinking. It's about the experience while you're at the bar. You're talking to people, you're interacting. The bartender is like the master of ceremonies to a certain extent. And when it all works, you have a positive experience. You're going to go back, as opposed to a bartender
and bring your friends.
Like, hey, what do you want?
Yes.
What do you want? And it's like it's ew. It's
what can I get for you? What do you like? What would you like? What can I get for you? What's your pleasure? The funny thing before, it's humor that's involved in one of our regulars, Howard. He comes in. He goes, my wife likes margaritas, and you know what? Martinis and margaritas go together. Martinis and margaritas. I said, well, wait, you can give away a little too much sometimes, and you could service too large of a group, and then you don't service any.
Right.
Because we'd like to. I mean, if it comes so busy and we can guarantee the thing and have it's hard at a small place to schedule enough people for an increase that happens incrementally. And the smaller the place, the smaller the increase affects your ability to serve them. A bigger place, you get a 25% influx. And you got to make people, you retask people. You say, you go from the outside bar to the inside bar come to the outside bar, you help them. You could be more, you could be flexible.
Yeah,
that
right.
way.
There's more options.
He mentioned a margarita thing, and I said, Howard, it's hard. We try to price it. We try to get a deal on the product and all that stuff. And he goes, well, you got to do it. I said, okay, Howard, what do you do? You do concrete? Well, why don't we do half-price concrete Mondays? How would you like to deliver all your concrete? For how many yards? You get 2 yards for the price of one.
I'm sure Howard was down with that.
No, he said, you crazy? You know how hard I work for that? I go like this, my case in point. He started laughing. I said, yeah. I said, there's only so much you do. You drive it your certain way. You could be creative. I try to create a little flexibility by throwing in a red sangria, because not everyone likes margaritas, right?
Right.
That didn't work. But I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do a martini, and then I'm going to put red sangria. And I have an idea behind it, and there's a good reason for it, and I'm not going to say it there, but that's my cost control, and it makes sense for us to do it for that reason. If you heard my theory, but it's only meant for
you guys make your own sangria? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, I make my own sangria there, and they make their own sangria, and they're all pretty good. Well, listen, we are at, it looks like 44 minutes, and we talked about all sorts of things, but we didn't talk about, once again, at the end. No, we're going to do it. If you do want to come, we did talk about the catch. It's in Key Largo. It's a mile marker. It's in mile marker 102. It's on the northbound side. So all I have to do is go a little south and then turn around and come in. It's a limited parking space, but you can find it. And if you come there, I'll be happy to talk to you. If you're a listener, I'm happy to talk to anybody, even if they're not a listener. But please do. And if you are a listener, please subscribe. And you do subscribe, please share. See if any of your friends.
Let me throw a little shout out to your cooking staff.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about the food in the catch.
Let's hear it.
It's amazing. I have never been let down, whether it's a hamburger or it's fish or chicken, or it is really, really good food. You know, you say bar food. No. This is really good food, and those gentlemen, I assume they're all gentlemen in the back, cooking.
They try to be gentlemen. Oh, I get you saying they're all men. They're all men. They're all
those
male.
Guys,
they're all male. If you know what I mean.
Shout out, because they work really hard and they cook well. It's very well done there too.
Oh, that's very nice that you did that. And you know what? The owners, Kathy and Paige, are very sweet and supportive, and they work really hard. They work the place really hard, and all the workers do. All the workers work really hard. They're very conscientious. We try to do our best. And you know what? Most places try to do that. I see that when I go to places.
Yeah.
I went to places in Poland that were nice and stuff like that. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed going in there, and you had a nice server, bartender. I was in Zakopane, and I just stopped in a place when the girls were shopping, and the one thing I hate to do is clothes shopping with the girls, because they look at every piece of clothing in the place. So I'll just go and have a drink.
And I would too, because I hate shopping.
Yep. So that's where I do. When I lived in Philadelphia, when I would go with either years ago when drinking and driving was less stringent, I would have to go to a place called Mr. Dunderbox in one of the malls. It was a German, and they had all this different beer and stuff like that. Yeah, it was great. And there was, in the Chamonix Mall, there was I forgot, the Crown and Cork maybe, or something like that. It was a great little restaurant in the middle of a mall. And after, my brother and my best friend and I, we would go to this place after we were Christmas Eve shopping. And after we did, because we're guys, we did practically all the shopping on Christmas Eve. I mean, that's what young guys do. You don't do things ahead of time. You do it last minute.
Of course.
And then after the end, it's great success. We go and drink there. And then you got to wait. We got to get home. We got to see the ladies.
Oh, my goodness.
Yep. Well, now I've got to go home and see the ladies. And once again, I'd like to thank everyone for listening. Listen to us. Subscribe to us on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, whatever platform you use. We're probably on it. We're probably on it some way. I'd like to thank 43 Keys Media and my wife and daughter, Abby and Sky. And tomorrow is the first day of school.
Ooh, look at that!
Tomorrow's the first day of school.
Minnesota isn't until after Labor Day.
No, but down the Keys, they do it. They do it extra long because we're in the midst of hurricane season. You never know if it's active. You could have like a bunch of days. What they do is, after they get they got to get through this hurricane season into November, I guess. It starts.
Correct.
And then they start figuring the extra holidays they're going to get, and without
too many lost school days.
They put a buffer like 2 weeks almost into it.
You have to incorporate those days in a school schedule,
because you have a minimum number of days that they have to attend.
Yep.
Exactly. So not that you just hope the kids learn a lot, but it does start tomorrow, first thing. In the morning.
You know what? There shouldn't be any fucking kids listening to this, because I'm working and say explicit. You shouldn't be listening to this. We didn't curse much, but I just said fucking right now. Penis, vagina. Whore. That's my last name, Horan.
Are you a Horan?
I'm a Horan. They always used to say, when you go back to school, my father was in the military, you go, oh, you're a Horan.
And what?
And a smart guy. Better than you. Obviously taller.
You're a whore and what?
A great reader.
Hey.
Yeah. Okay, I'd like to thank Anya, Papa Joe, and the
Jenna.
Kyler's. And Jenna, who wasn't on here.
Hello.
Appreciate it. Hello. I hate we didn't get to see the little Cuban that he had.
I hate to watch you go,
The
but I
mini
like
Cuban.
to watch you leave.
Yep. The mini Cuban.
You said you didn't want the little Cuban.
You
I
didn't-
would
he
want the
doesn't-
little Cuban if we had a real little Cuban.
He wants a little Cuban that has a car seat. It's all right.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have to be three inches smaller than you, right?
Yes. 3 inches shorter than me.
I'd like to thank you, everyone, for listening. We'll come back to you
Not
next
small
week.
and
Bye.
short. Bye.
Here we go.